The White House Coronavirus Task Force is getting ready for a briefing while a partisan fight plays out on Capitol Hill. The House voting now on a new stimulus bill that includes much-needed relief for small businesses. Republicans are pummeling Nancy Pelosi, saying she delayed the process for days, causing unnecessary suffering. The GOP also pinning last week's unemployment claims on the speaker after another 4 million Americans lost their jobs. Take a look.
To those 4.4 million Americans that were laid off this week, Congress owes you an apology. You put everything into your business to succeed, and government told them they had to shut down for the health of the nation. They made a sacrifice, but they got sacrificed for politics last week.
But Pelosi says it's Republicans who delayed the much-needed money.
Mitch McConnell likes to say we delayed the bill. No, he delayed the bill. We were very pleased that he finally came around to the fact that we had to go forward with this. So he was the one wasting time.
All right, let's start with you, Jesse. Yesterday you said that you are a nonpartisan guy, so we'll go to you for your take as to who is winning on the politics of this, because the Republicans seem to me to figure out a way to really try to pin something on Nancy Pelosi, but yet she's blaming them.
I don't mind that Nancy squeezed Mitch. I mind that it took her a week to do it. I mean, this doesn't take that long, but she dragged this out to steal Trump's thunder and make all Democrats marvel at her parliamentary maneuvers. I mean, if Nancy Pelosi were a Republican and tried to posture up like this for a week during a pandemic, the media would hunt her down like a dog. And you'd see all the lower thirds on cable television that said Pelosi's layoffs. But that's not what happened. Here's how quickly she could handle this. You ready? You get Mitch on the phone. Doot, 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 doot. Hey, Cocaine Mitch, it's Nancy. What we're going to do is this. I need a little bit more money for hospitals, testing, and small business loans, and we need it done soon. Mitch says, hey, Nance, we can't do this right now. Time's of the essence. Can we do it in a separate bill? Nancy says, no, we do it now, my way or the highway, and if you disagree with me, I'll just sleep on it for a week. Mitch says, okay, click. They call their aides. They add language to the draft. They call Mnuchin, says, hey, Treasury, we're going to need a little bit of money for this, that, and the other thing, and they get it done in an afternoon. But that's not what Nancy did. She dragged it out so she could have the spotlight, so she could claim credit for getting what she wanted and gets credit for this economic recovery. It's no surprise to me. I mean, she delayed aid to the border. She delayed aid to farmers. She held up the USMCA. She did this with small business, with unemployed. This is what she does. And Republicans are going to complain, well, they lost the House in 2018. Their voters didn't show up. So you show up in November, you kick her out. That's how you solve problems in Washington.
Greg, who do you think, which side is more persuasive on this point? Because what people really wanted, they just want the money. They want the banks to be able to fulfill their loans. They don't really care about the politics of it. Do the politics matter at all?
Yeah, I don't think either side is persuasive in this at all. America isn't divided like them. It's just disgusted. Their lives are basically hanging in a balance while these partisan poop heads, and yes, I said poop head at 5 o'clock, sit around and bicker. They cannot shed themselves of their partisanship even when people are dying. And a lot of these people, they express shock over these job numbers, yet they refuse to say what they believe one should do about it. So they have no skin in the game. They will sit there and they'll go, oh my God, and they go, well, okay, then what would you do? And then they go, well, we need to give more money. No, you need to make a decision. You need to make an adult decision. So we're watching essentially a slow motion disintegration of a civilization, right? Which means, on the upside, we might already almost be there, because I think instinctively we know how far we can go before poverty, anarchy, and ultimately war, because that's where it's going to go if we don't pull the nose up on this plane. So my optimism is based on how grim it's getting, because that means we're almost there, and we can't go on like this. It sounds like a terrible relationship, but we can't go on like this. It's got to end. So here's a positive way to look at this. The bad news first. This is going to happen again. The good news, it's going to happen again. which means we're going to get through this one this time, and everything we learn is going to make the next time a piece of cake. We're going to know when to pull back. We're going to know when the coast looks clear. So what we're going through now isn't just for now, right? All this pain and suffering isn't for now, it's for later. This is actually going to pay off for future generations when another pandemic comes around. So that's a good way to look at this. I just wish that because we're American people are making these sacrifices, the politicians would step up and make their sacrifices too, and stop being a-holes.
Juan, the partisans on Capitol Hill, or the members of Congress, they're speaking about each other in very vitriolic and almost personal terms in the middle of this pandemic. I mean, obviously tensions are running high, but what do you make of all that?
I just think it's bad form, Dana. I think it's bad form to play the political blame game when people are suffering. So I think I'm basically echoing what Jesse and Greg said. I think that's regrettable. And I think what you really need here is to focus on what is necessary to help the American people and get them effective help. So when people talk about delay, I don't think it's any delay to craft legislation that's effective in terms of delivering necessary help to people who are suffering through a health emergency, an economic emergency. And what we saw last time, by the way, is that Republicans and Democrats signed on to a bill that didn't get the job done, didn't stop the job losses, for example. And instead, what we're reading in the papers is that the big banks were rewarding the wealthy clients and small business didn't get the aid that they needed. And today you hear, Senate Majority Leader McConnell saying, oh, yeah, well, let the states go bankrupt. Again, forget the politics.
Well, that's a different...
Why would you say such a thing?
But Juan, that's a different point.
Well,
the bankruptcy is actually a constructive idea.
Totally different
it's an idea.
Yeah.
Well,
let me
but
go to Brett Baer,
Greg, I think what you got to say is... Oh, okay.
Let's just set the
Brett
record
Baer,
straight
take
here.
it away.
I mean, there was a clean bill that once they found out that the small business pot was going to be dry, there was a clean bill to put more money in it. Nancy Pelosi did not go forward with that. Period. The end. Stop there. So, yes, they wanted to do other things. Democrats did. But to have an answer that says that it was Mitch McConnell who delayed is really political jujitsu. And you have to have somebody that pushes back and says, wait a second. In that time that there was a delay, there are X number of small businesses around the country that had to make the decision. I haven't gotten the money, so I've got to let these people go. So when the number goes up 4.4 million on unemployment, there's a reason that it goes up that way. And that delay is part of it.
Well, I'm being told we have a little extra time here. So we have the McConnell thought, this point that Juan brought up about the states and what Senator Mitch McConnell said about funding for the states and helping them out, and Cuomo's response. Let's play that and we'll get reaction on the other side.
I would certainly be in favor of allowing states to use the bankruptcy route. It saves some cities. My guess is their first choice would be for the federal government to borrow money from future generations to send it down to them now so they don't have to do that. That's not something I'm going to be in favor of.
New York puts in more money to the federal pot than it takes out. His state takes out more than it puts in. Senator McConnell, who's getting bailed out here? It's your state that is living on the money that we generate.
Greg, let me turn it over to you. So there was just a budget that was passed in New York State. I don't think there was a single budget cut in it. This is before coronavirus. But this is going to be a huge issue because there are a lot of states that were not in good financial shape even before the coronavirus. So what happens next?
Yeah, and it seems to me before there were viruses, there were cities run by Democrats that were declaring bankruptcy without the help of a pandemic. They were just declaring bankruptcy or they were broke just by spending. So I don't buy it. This whole segment just angers me because we're just falling back into the same mistakes that we make every time. But this time is different because these mistakes can cost you the civilization. This isn't like, we're not like arguing over, a government shutdown. We're not arguing over whether we, close down some of the parks because we're having a sequestration. This isn't even an impeachment discussion. This is where our leaders cannot even make an adult decision, which actually could ruin everybody's lives. We could all be destroyed. That's why I have to stop every time I'm about to say something, because it's going to use 16 different words that begin with the letter F.
I think maybe we should just leave it right there, because that was a good way to end it. F word and all.